Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in to let your soul glow. We already hit the top charts, so if you're really ready, let's go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. From the just to be the host. NSC, co-host. Crochet, co-host. Prime time, co-host. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in to let your soul grow. We already hit the top charts, so if you're really ready, let's go. Now wind it up, now wind it up, now wind it up. Don't stop, put the time is up. Don't stop, put the time is up. Let's go, now wind it up, go wind it up, go wind it up, go. Don't stop till the time is up, go. Don't stop till the time is up, go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in to let your soul go. We already hit the top charts, so if you're really ready, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. We are broadcasting live from Dallas, Fort Worth, DFW. Today is Tuesday, October the 18th, 2022. I can't believe this year is almost over with. October is flying by, and we know there are great things in store. I'm very excited about tonight's episode. Of course, the name of tonight's episode is called Blessings in the Streets. Our featured guest, Mr. Joseph Roberts. He's a well-renowned author, speaker, instructor, you name it. Take time out of his productive schedule to talk about his new book, Blessings in the Street, among other things that will strike some interest on tonight's episode. So we're very excited about tonight's episode. Of course, we're back here with Kenny Primetime, William, of course, Shay as well. So we're very excited to be back with y'all tonight on this great Tuesday. We are live streaming, of course, on Facebook. So if you're in the comment section, put hashtag Lesson in the Streets. Let us know that you're joining us wherever you may be watching us from tonight. And also, we want to hear from you. We're doing adult we're doing an audience interaction, of course. So if you have any questions for Mr. Roberts, of course, about his book, anything, leave your questions in the comment. But remember this: you have any toxic comments, you will be blocked. I'm just letting you know straight up in front. We don't play that mess around here. So if you're going to be positive, be positive. If you're negative, you will be kicked out with all due respect, because we're all about positivity here on the podcast. So we're very excited tonight once again. Also, we're going to have another guest with us tonight, Felicia Alice. She's the CEO, founder of Dallas Boss Magazine. She will be tuning in with us as well. She has a very exciting upcoming event this coming Saturday here in DFW. So if you're around the DFW area, come on out, support, learn some stuff, meet new people. That's how I met Joseph at the last brunch she had, connected, invited him to be on the podcast. He gladly accepted the invitation. And I'm excited that he's here with me tonight. And by the way, go ahead, while everybody getting prepared, Joseph, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience for the very first time here on Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast.
All right. Well, again, I'm Joseph Roberts. Thank you, sir, for having me on your show. It was a pleasure meeting you and getting an opportunity to be a part of this. Just a little something about myself. I'm actually originally born and raised in Chicago, South Side. Came up with a teen mom, single parent household. So come from humble beginnings in that regard. Mom didn't have a lot of money. We was just the two of us and my grandmother living in a little 2-bedroom apartment. And, but my mom, despite the circumstances that she was faced with, she did what she could to make sure that she had a strategy in place to make sure that she could raise me up in an environment that, while it was a working class environment around us neighborhood wise, it was still the standard inner city type stuff, gangs, drugs, theft and all the other negative influences. But I'm just so thankful that my mom had the foresight to set boundaries for me, to emphasize the importance of school, and of course, most importantly, to introduce God into my life. And the combination of that allowed me to be able to avoid a lot of those pitfalls that many of my friends, unfortunately, were not able to avoid. So that allowed me to make it through school accordingly, graduate with high honors. I went on ahead to college and got my degree in economics and Spanish from University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I went on to get my master's degree in education and social policy from Northwestern University. I've had the opportunity to have a fruitful career in my adult lifetime, and fast forwarding, just last year, stepped out on faith to start my own business, God Plus One LLC, where I focus in on the 3 pillars of relationship building, leadership development, and mental health awareness. And of course, I wrap all of those pillars around the foundational basis of godly principles in that, because I believe that in order for you to succeed in those areas, God has to be a part of that model. And of course, the big thing that has been birthed out of me being in business for myself, of course, was the opportunity to publish my very first book, which is Blessings in the Streets, When God Leverages Our Valley Experiences. So I was excited about that. And just right now, I'm just at a point in my life where I'm just working on walking in my purpose. And just doing things in a way that God has designed and created for me to do, and trying to impact and influence at the highest of levels. And being a part of this experience with you this evening is just one of the steps along the way to get me where I need to get. So to do the work that God has called for me to do. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm thankful for this opportunity.
Awesome. So you got a impressive resume, Joseph, from single mother to the man you became today. And we want to talk more about that tonight also, because single parents back then to today, there's a whole other topic, but we want to talk about that tonight as well too also. And I'm back here with my family, of course. I got Coach Shay, I got Mrs. A herself, Anna C, and of course Primetime Kenny Williams back here too tonight. And we are live streaming, of course, on Facebook Live. So we encourage you to, if you join with us, remember, hashtag Blessings in the Streets. Also, we're doing something new. We're doing called adult interaction. You want to say that? Let's say adult interaction. So if you're in the audience and if you want to ask questions to Mr. Joseph, you're glad to. But remember this: if it's toxic, you will be blocked. I'm just gonna let you know that you will be blocked if it's toxic. We encourage positive comments. If you have any questions at all, make sure it's positive. If not, the mediators will block you from here on in. We don't play those type of games here. We're all about positivity. So once again, I'm very excited. So we're back here with the Mafia, with the team. I want them to introduce themselves. Start up with Coach Shay. Coach Shay, go ahead and introduce yourself. Everybody know you're not a stranger to the show. For those that's tuning in for the very first time, go ahead and introduce yourself. Then we'll pass it on to Miss A herself, Anna C, and then Kenny Primetime Williams.
Hello, everyone. My name is Coach Shay, of course, coming back to you with the celebrity. I could not wait to spill this on y'all. Like, oh my goodness. So, Kanye is stressing me out. He's stressing me out. Like, I just came on here. I had your back, Kanye. I had your back. He was in your creative juices. They were stirring up. Now it's just overflowing everywhere. It's just really bad. He's saying at this point, people need to stop interviewing him. Y'all need to stop asking him for interviews till he get his mental health in order. You can see he is struggling. He's struggling right now. He's being sued. He's about to be sued for $250 million by George Floyd's daughter for defamation of character, misinformation. He's a loose cannon right now. He's a loose cannon. We need to give him some help. He needs to be contained. He dropping names. He got Ice Cube in it. He just went crazy. If y'all want to go and watch the video, go ahead, go on YouTube. Look at the drink champs. I think he might have had one too many cups to drink. He's losing his mind. He's going crazy. Also, for my women that are interested in getting weight loss surgery, these BBLs is very dangerous, going out of state, going overseas. I just read an article that a woman went to get a BBL and she left without a kidney. That is a big issue. She went to get a BBL. She left with the BBL, but she also left without her kidney. So y'all be very mindful where y'all doing these things at, the chances that you taking. Remember, even when you get a BBL, you risking your life. Very serious situation there. And we also know that Tia and Corey Haddock, they is separating after 14 years of marriage. I cannot believe it. She's saying irreconcilable differences, y'all. He said he did not cheat on her. Everybody was going crazy talking about he cheated. He said he did not cheat on her. They just got some things that they can't quite hash out right now. And I think that's all I have for y'all today on my celebrity tea.
Appreciate. All right.
I find out more about the Tia and Corey situation. They keep it up.
Well, that's what's up. Well, I appreciate you sharing with the latest entertainment thing that's going on. Also, George Brooks put a comment in the comment section. He said Kanye is seriously dealing with a mental illness and is surrounded by the wrong people and needs help and not scorn or ridicule. Mental health issues are real. So, do y'all want to comment on that? Well, let's start with Joseph. Joseph, you want to comment on that? Comment that was left in the comment section.
Yes, I definitely co-sign to that mental health issues are a real thing. And what's going on with Kanye right now, I mean, I guess anytime that you're at a point where you just are just screaming for attention, which is clearly what he's doing. He's a genius for a reason. Unfortunately, his genius mindset is being just misdirected and misguided, and it's dangerous. It's toxic not only for the people who are very influential in gravitating to anything that he says, but then just for himself. And so, as for as talented as he is and everything that's going on, I mean, I pray for this brother, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs, because it's clear to me, and I'm no doctor, I'm no professional in that regard, but it's clear that he's hurting for something. Something is going on that's causing him to act out, and the sooner he can get some help with that and to reel that in, I think the better off he will be. And it'll be a testament to other people that might be having similar struggles. They may not have the same kind of financial status or popularity status, but it is very much a real thing. And you have to, come to grips with accepting that and getting the appropriate help to be assisted accordingly. And then getting the help, actually applying whatever it is that you're being, shared with to actually do to make it better. Because anybody can give you all the advisement and suggestions and guidance in the world, but if you don't execute it and apply it, it's just one ear and out the other. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really do. And another comment he said in the comment section, he said celebrities are all...
Kanye need to just don't let me try him. He need a life coach. He needs to start physically being active. He got too much time on his hands. Like, he a business person, but when you at a high level like that, you really ain't, you delegating. You ain't really doing it. So he just really idle. I feel like he really idle. And he need me as his life coach. And he needs to get some physical activity in his life.
And that's what's up. I read another comment too. George Brooks says celebs are often viewed as commodity and not as people once they get to a certain level of fame. That's a comment that George Brooks left. And he said he needs meds and therapy.
He does. He's so hurt. He's hurt. Like in the video when you watch it, like he really hurt. He really wants his family back together. He is really desperate for that. He never wanted Kim to be a single parent. He never wanted to be the typical family household that's separated from the single parent. He never wanted that. But unfortunately, that's where he ended up.
Well, yeah, well, like if he wanted, if you really want that, then you'll make the necessary steps to make things happen. That sounds like a man that making excuses. A man that makes excuses, not a man at all. If you really want something bad enough, you'll get yourself together, and that's what it have to be. Everybody I want this, but how bad do you want? It's about how you want it. It's about if you left in the middle of the ocean and the water starts filling up, what you gonna do? You gonna fight to survive. You're not gonna sit there and sink. You're gonna fight to survive. And that's how he should have that mindset. Okay, I want my family back. I need to take the necessary precautions to get my family back if I'm really serious about this. A long time like this, when people start getting in trouble, that's when they want to start crying out, I want my family. I want my marriage back. But you want to think about all that stuff when you're doing all that stuff. And now when you in deep water, now okay, I want my family back. That just be real with everything. You gotta be real. You gotta be real with each other. Be real with each other.
I just feel that there's no help for those who don't have a heart to receive help, or the mindset to receive it. I really feel that mental illness is real. It does exist. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like in our culture, we're just making excuses when high level people are making choices we don't agree with. This man is beyond competent and capable enough. And not only that, he has the resources to accommodate him to get any help or assistance that he needs. And even when you're in a position where you can't make that decision saying you need it, we all know that if it was to the point where he needed someone to come in and speak on behalf of him, the government would do so, right? So I feel like when we hold someone in such high regards, we just start making all these excuses for their poor behavior. The man is just displaying who he is. He's standing in his truth. He's doing things that he feels is righteous and just, and we don't agree with it. And so everybody's like, oh, he needs help. He's just being himself. And we're just trying to put a Band-Aid on how poorly he's behaving.
Yeah, it's all about accountability. You gotta be accountable for your action. If you go to an AA meeting, the first thing they're gonna do, admit you have a problem. When you go to the AA meeting, so you have to admit, hey, I have a problem here. Once you admit you have a problem, then that's when you can get it fixed and get it resolved. You just can't keep cutting the top of the grass, and then you got to the root of the problem. You have to get down to the root of the problem.
That man ain't looking for help. He ain't looking to change. He's a mastermind of marketing. He's the king of controversy, and he knows what to do to ruffle the feathers and keep his name populating in society so that we're constantly talking about him, because it's going to generate income and revenue. That man know what he doing. That man ain't crazy. He don't need no help. He ain't all that mess about he wanted his family back. Girl, if he wanted his family back, he would have his family. Kanye is being Kanye, and we just don't appreciate the things that he's doing because it don't rock with our morals and ethics.
Right.
At this point, it's just ridiculous. It's like, just put a muzzle on it.
But we just need to just keep moving.
And you gotta realize it's real. It's to be realistic. It's real people out here that does have mental issues, and they not famous. They're not on the TV screen. They're not on the movies. They're not doing music. Them the ones we need to be focused on. It's real people out here in your family, in your neighborhood,
who don't have the resources, who don't have access to the medical needs, assistance, and therapy that they actually require, right? So that's why it's like, it's not that I'm unsympathetic, but that man has the means to be well taken care of. I have no sympathy for him at this point. It's so many people, our people, who need resources, who need access to proper counseling, medical treatment, facilities, resource. Yes, let's focus on those people who don't have access, right? Who don't have resources, who don't have someone to be a voice for them.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. And on that, and we'll go further than that. We're going to talk about some good stuff tonight with Joseph as well. Kick it off with Kenny Primetime win with the latest sports. We know football season is here. We know NBA is fully in effect, was already started. So Kenny, go ahead and take with the latest sports news and updates.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Hello to everyone out there in podcast land. I've been so excited hearing different topics tonight. A lot of good topics and a lot of good things is going on. But I want to welcome the land. I want to welcome everybody to the Prime Zone. I'm your host, Kenny Primetime Williams. I'm here with you tonight with some news. Tonight, very special night to you for all you basketball fans and gurus. Tonight is opening night. Tip-off has been begun. First game of the night with the Philadelphia 76ers tipping off against the Boston Celtics in Boston. Right now, that's a close game going on. And the late game tonight, the game that I'm ready to see is the Golden State Warriors, the defending Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Get to see a lot of different players. a lot of different uniform changes and just the chemistry of different players on the team this year. And we're going to get to see that tonight. Personally, my team is the Lakers. I'm excited to see what they're going to do tonight, and we're going to look forward to that. Moving on to the NFL, ladies and gentlemen, we've had one exciting and one crazy weekend of NFL football. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people are sad. A lot of people are still got their chest out. But hey, I'm gonna start with the college and the breaking one of all time is the night game versus the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't want to step on anybody's toes on the Prime Zone because I love you, everybody out there, and I want you to continue to come to the Prime Zone and come to the podcast anytime. But I was so happy when Alabama lost. That was something that made my weekend. But anyway, we're gonna move on. The Tennessee Volunteers beat Alabama Crimson Tide this past weekend. First time in years. They did that since 2000. I said early 2000. I had the actual date, but I have to get back to the ladies and gentlemen on that. I will do that too. Now, let's go to Sunday and Sunday night. Everybody knows that me and Mr. Jackson's team is the Dallas Cowboys, and our team suffered a very, very treacherous loss. I saw a lot of mistakes, but I also saw a lot of positive things, a lot of comeback, a lot of fight in the team as a whole, defense, offensive-wise. We'll be happy to be getting Dak back. I'm very impressed with Cooper Rush and how he handled things while Dak was out. I have no wrongness to say about that. I think on this past Sunday, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles 27-26 was a very heartbreaking thing because of the fact of that we came in with the intensity of trying to give the Eagles their first loss, and the defense didn't play a very good game. The offense wasn't gelling as they should, and we just came up with the loss. But we're going to look forward going into Detroit with Dak back at the helm, and look forward to the Cowboys coming out on victory. Last night, Monday night was a very, very treacherous game. It was a very, very long game between the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. I'm sorry. These guys came down to the wire and ended up the Broncos losing, making their record 2-4. Russell Wilson was complaining about a hamstring pull in that game. We won't know yet today until after his MRI has been released. But also going to boxing, former heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder came into the ring, back in the ring after being away for a long time, and came with a nice victory, a KO in the first round, making it the quickest in years in 15 seconds. So congratulations, Mr. Deontay Wilder, for a great, great, quick matchup as he returned to the ring. Well, that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. I want you to enjoy the basketball season as it tips off tonight. I want you to continue enjoying the National Football League. Keep rooting for your team. I love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. We all love you here on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Prime Zone. I'm your host, Kenny Primetime Williams. I'm signing out.
Appreciate you, Ken, with the latest sports news and updates as well. Like I said, we are live streaming tonight here on Facebook Live, of course. So if you're in the comment section, put hashtag Blessings in the Street, and also like, share, comment. And by the way, we get stars now. So anytime you hit the star, we get money for it. So if you're looking right now on the live stream, you see the star underneath the live stream. So hit that star, and that star give us money for the podcast. So we're very excited about being monetized here on Facebook now with the content, the support from everybody, the love from everybody. So we encourage y'all to just share the podcast tonight. We want you to be involved. We want you to put comments in the comment section. We're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. Ms. Joseph got a great book out called Blessings in the Street. It's about his life, his mother's life, the trials, the tribulations, the victories, and the product of what God has done in his life, the benefits of what is transpiring in his life as well, and just being a man of great character, a man of noble character, and it's a blessing to have here on the podcast tonight. And also, we got to get ready to go into one. We got Anna C. with the latest financial tips. So Anna, Miss A, go ahead and kick it. And by the way, Anna does have a show that she does on Tuesdays around noon. It's dealing with leadership. So if you're interested in leadership, you want to know more about leadership, Anna would be glad to assist you. If you really are first of all, I'm gonna say this: you gotta be serious about it. So you're serious about leadership, get with Anna. She could school you, she could guide you, she could direct you, point you in the right direction. So Miss A, go ahead and take away with the latest financial tips.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Furman. It's Anna C., your spending plan specialist, financial planning at your fingertips. Furman is absolutely correct. Every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I take 30 minutes out to pour into up and coming and still growing and developing leaders, future leaders, current leaders, anyone who's looking to do more, be more, become the best version of themselves. In order to have a great organization, you need to be a phenomenal leader. Your organization is going to be a reflection of your leadership skills. So we spend 30 minutes developing those who can positively impact and influence others. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can drop me a message, check me on Facebook. It's every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time via Zoom. There's no cost to this. We read books together. We go over seminars, lectures. It's really good. You get a plethora of knowledge and information, right? But getting into your financial news, I'm not going to hold you guys up because I'm really looking forward to hearing from Mr. Joseph and hearing about his wonderfully written book. I can't wait to ask you some questions about that. But when we're talking about books, we're talking about things teaching and things coming out. I want you guys out there in Facebook land to know your girl is coming out with her first product. And y'all are going to be the first ones to see, hear, and be able to order this. So be on the lookout. The spending plan specialist has something in store for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I've been working on it for months. I'm super excited to share it with everyone. And I will say this, I was able to make it happen with positive thinking, prayer, preparation, and planning. All right. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is tonight, but stay tuned. Walking Your Way Impact listeners, you will be the first ones to see, know, and be able to purchase my very first product on my product line. So when we're talking about financial tips, the one tip I want to leave y'all with tonight is if your only coverage is going to be through your employer, you are not adequately insured. So I want you to Google this. You can do this on your own. You can Google companies like Walmart. You can Google companies like Sears, and you will see lawsuit after lawsuit. So let me give you a little feedback on that. A lot of times people say, I don't need life insurance. I have it through my job. Well, there's a reason why that isn't sufficient. One, what happens if you're no longer employed, you're fired, terminated, or you become too ill to work? You will no longer be covered. So you need to have something that you are the owner of. If the only coverage you have is through your employer, they are the owner. They have control of that policy. They can change it, end it. They can do whatever they want with it, right? So anything that you're not in control of, you don't have a say over it. And I'm telling you, listeners, in 2022, going into 2023, we need to have a mindset of ownership. We need to be in control of our future and our destiny, and we can't just leave it up to chance. So what happened was Walmart provided their associates with life insurance coverage, and since they were the owner of these policies, they were able to change the beneficiary to themselves. So when these associates stopped working at Walmart, they kept those policies intact, and when those people passed away, they collected the funds from that. Not only that, there were a few instances where employees worked X amount of years and they ended up losing coverage because they became so ill, and they could have used those resources and funds to keep those policies intact. But because Walmart was the fiduciary, the person in charge of making those decisions, a lot of associates lost their coverage. They lost their benefits, short-term disability and such. And when these people ended up passing away, Walmart collected on those insurance policies. The families got nothing. So the families took Walmart to court because they felt like this was morally wrong and unjust. But Walmart says, hey, baby, this is business. This is just one reason why you don't want to put all your eggs and depend on your employer. If you wanted to depend on your boss to say, that person really cares about me, can we just have a moment of reality? Can we have a reality check? So if you do not have insurance outside of your job, my one financial tip would be get some ASAP. Okay, something is better than nothing. Anything your job offers you that's free or reduced, it's a benefit. Utilize it. Just don't depend solely on that. So since they were going through these litigations with different states, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Walmart decided if we cannot keep some of the money from these policies, we're going to cancel it for all associates. So I want y'all to be aware of these things. This is the kind of stuff that's going on, and your everyday associate sometimes has no clue what's happening behind the scenes. They're paying into these policies, thinking and hoping I will be covered in the event I need it. And when they are not, and they don't know who to talk to and how and why, it's an issue. So the only way to make sure you're properly protected is to get some private insurance that you are the owner of. That is my financial tip for y'all tonight. Make sure you Google it. Google Sears, when they was going bankrupt, they canceled all the benefits for their associates. It left hundreds of thousands of people without coverage, and they were at an age where they no longer qualified. It was horrible.
Awesome stuff, Anna. Thank you for sharing that great information, something that you have to take and consider and apply. It's important you start taking control of your life, start taking control of your destiny. Don't allow anybody or anything to control your life and control your destiny. It's all about having a disciplined life. You got to be very disciplined in every area of your life. Don't just depend on your job. You got to think about it. Don't need jobs. The job just temporary. It just takes one bad decision costs you your job. So don't get so comfortable depending on your job. I'm not saying you do something stupid. Just keep that in mind. All it takes me one bad decision. They cut back, whatever. Take advantage of the opportunity your job offers, but don't just get to the point where I'm just depending on my job. And like Anna say, if you don't have any life insurance, get your life insurance policy. Take out your another retirement. RIAs are available. Take that stuff out. Don't be afraid. And that's what it is. And a lot of people, and we all was there before, how we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to think a certain way. We was never taught to think for ourselves. We was always taught to believe in everything else, but not believe in ourselves. So people get afraid when they hear stuff like this. They get afraid because it's something they're not accustomed to. It's
Right.
something that they was never. I'll tell you. Okay, they're gonna go biblical for a moment. When Moses was freeing the children of Israel, they complained. In the midst of they freedom, they complained. When they were back with Pharaoh, they had it good with Pharaoh. But when they was escaping from Pharaoh, going to the promised land, they complained. That's what people do.
The fear of the unknown.
Yeah, and when God raises people up to help people be free, they complain about it. We had it good back here. You lead us out here to die. So that's when you talk to people like that would make me resonate with that. When you talk to people like that, they mind is so conditioned depending on somebody else. So you come with something to them that even though it's been around for years, it's something new. Oh, you trying to set us up. That stuff don't work. And all this other stuff. So that would make me think about that when Moses was freeing the children of Israel. So it was like, take control, man. Take control.
I do agree. And I absolutely believe sometimes we do become codependent heavily on those in leadership. We trust them to do right by us, which they should. But we know as adults, we cannot put all of our trust in an entity or an individual. We must do some kind of study and research, right, on our own. And do not feel overwhelmed, because you don't have to be a financial professional to make the right financial decisions. And I know it may seem intimidating to some, but it's really quite simple, and it's way easier than what we make it. Sometimes we overcomplicate things, and we don't have to feel ashamed or embarrassed by our lack of knowledge or what we think we don't know, right? So if you don't know who to talk to, if you don't know how to get started, or you just need someone to explain things to you in a way that you understand, that's why it's so important to have your own personal financial planner, your own personal financial coach or professional who you can relate to, who resonates with you, who explains things to you. If anyone needs any kind of questions that you may have, if you want to get started with life insurance, investing, questions about your mortgage, how to create a will and a trust, those are all things that I can assist you with. What I do in my agency and my firm, not only do we help people save, make, and create wealth, but what we do, we empower people with financial literacy and knowledge. That is the primary focus of our agency and what we want to do for the community. So anyone who has any questions about where to go, how to get started, please feel free. Leave me a message, drop me any questions. I would love to assist you and help you get started on your financial journey.
Awesome stuff, Anna. Thank you for that. Remember, those that's listening right now, take control of your life. It's already, okay, this is October the 18th, 2022. This is the 10th month of 2022. Remember, December 31st to January 1st, everybody was so excited about 2022 going to be my year, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. All your emotions, and then after all that emotion, you right back to your reality. And you go right through the motions. When it comes December 31st of 2022, going to January 1st, 2022, you had that same excitement. Get out of that. You have to become more disciplined. You have to become more rooted and grounded. Get out of our emotions. Get out of our feelings. It does not lead it. And I was there too. I've been there before. Been there, done that. Being in your emotions, you be so excited, you feeling pumped up, you feel you ready to go. Then you right back to your reality, and you ain't come to anything. Even the Bible tells us that we could deceive our own self. So starting tonight, don't stop deceiving yourself. Don't deceive yourself anymore. You're not fooling nobody. We fool ourselves because we can look good out here for people, but on the inside, when the crowd is gone, we're right back to that same state we was in. So remember, be real with yourself. Like I said, we're very excited to have Joseph here with us. I met him at the brunch. It was last month, met him at the brunch. Matter of fact, I got a copy of the book. I do believe in supporting our business people, authors. I'm not just talking about it. I bees about it. And this is my receipt because I did purchase the book. I paid for it. Great book. I love supporting great people that's doing great things. It's called Blessings in the Streets. He's going to take us on this journey. He's going to explain the book. It's very interesting. You look at it, Blessings in the Streets. Some people I think it must be some type of hood book. But no, it's not a type of hood book. It's a book based on his life of his mother, the trial, the ups and downs, the triumphs, the victories. And he's going to take us on this journey on Blessings in the Streets. So, Joseph, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. It's an honor. It's a privilege to have you here on Walking This Way, Impact Voice Podcast. I know you introduced yourself earlier. We know we still got people coming in on streaming with us right now. So go ahead and reintroduce yourself to the audience here on Walking This Way, Impact Voice Podcast.
Again, Joseph Roberts here. Again, thank you for having me on your show. As I shared earlier, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, South Side, born and raised, come from a single parent teen mom scenario. My mom got pregnant with me right out of high school. And we the two of us and my grandmother all lived in a little small 2-bedroom apartment. Literally, a lot of people don't know, friends of mine, but literally I had to share a room with my mom until I was 13 years old. One bed on one side, one on the other, working class neighborhood. And the typical things that are associated with a lot of inner city living, drugs, gangs, theft, all the other negative influences. And so my mom was very instrumental in helping me to navigate through that, through not only setting boundaries for me, but also putting an emphasis on school, as well as, of course, introducing me to God at a very early age. And in doing so, I was able to navigate those pathways successfully, do well in school, go on to college, get my degree, go ahead and graduate school, get my master's. become an adult and living a life that was way more than my mom was ever able to provide me. And I'm sure she was still here today. She would definitely be proud of that. Everything that I am as a man, I owe a great considerable deal to just her shaping and molding me and teaching me how to conduct myself accordingly. And it's led to me having a solid career in life, be able to provide for my family in ways that I would have never imagined to be able to do so. And now I'm at a season in my life where I'm taking it up to a next level of walking in my purpose. And that involved me last year starting my business, God Plus One LLC, and birthing the first publishing of my very first book, Blessings in the Streets, when God leverages our valley experiences. So I'm just super excited about what God is doing for me right now. And I'm just trying to stay as open and ready and available to have God use me at the highest of levels and just to guide me in where I need to be going and what I need to be doing to impact and influence in a way that is not only pleasing to Him, but is rewarding and fulfilling, to make life be what it should be. Not just about chasing the paper and getting the titles and all of that kind of stuff, but just truly living in your purpose. So
Right. And I agree with that, just 1,000%. You know, being fully fulfilled in your life, utilizing everything that God placed in you, utilize your gifts. I remember I seen a sign on my way to work one night, and on the back of this van, it had, "I serve God with my talent." And everybody has a great talent. The Bible says your gift should make room for you. Everybody has a gift. What is your gift? You got to utilize your gift, and your gift will bring you up before great men. Your gift will make room for you. And just to hear your story about your mother, single mother, and you know, around that era, I know it was different at that time compared to this days and era. But I know with racism and diversity, it's like a man of color. It was more pressure put on a man of color back then compared to today because of the poverty-stricken neighborhoods, the inner city. I don't know back at them time either you was going with trade, military, mostly, especially my family growing up around that time. They went into the military to make a life and get out of Alabama and go and travel the world. But I know with your mom having that extra put on you, especially at that age around that time. So I'm gonna ask you the question is, did you ever want to be a writer? That's something you thought about, or how did it all come about actually becoming a writer?
Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't initially have an aspiration to be a writer. Writing was always something that I was good at growing up, but never in my wildest dreams did I ever envision myself per se having a book that I would author with my name on it or anything like that. This whole writing journey in terms of the book actually started from a conversation that my mom and I had probably about a couple of years before she passed. We were literally just sitting around hanging out, and my mom was just kind of reflecting on just her life. And she says to me, you know, people would really be surprised if they knew all that I've been through in life, the ups and downs, highs and lows, etc. And she said, I would love the opportunity to write a book and tell people about it, because I think that they would really be moved and amazed by my story. And she said, and I know exactly what I would call it. I would call it Blessings in the Streets. So, you know, I was like, you know, that's a cool idea, Mom. You know, I'm, you know, pumping her up and everything. Because I really did think it was a good idea. Well, of course, you know, a couple of years later, my mom passes. So it's a dream that she never actually got a chance to materialize. So right around the 1-year anniversary of my mom's passing, you know, of course, I'm remembering my mom and she's on my spirit and everything. But one thing in particular that kept on happening was I kept having a reoccurring reminder of that conversation about her writing this book. And it was just really getting to me. I was like, why am I keep meditating on this? And so I remember telling my wife about it. And, you know, I'm like, I keep having this feeling like, you know, that maybe my mom was never intended to write this book, but actually that I'm supposed to write it. And so my wife was like, yeah, that'd be a cool idea. And I only knew of one other person that my mom had shared the idea with, you know, that this was something that she wanted to do. So I actually reached out to this person on Facebook through Messenger, and I still have the message saved today for all of these years. And I reached out to them and I said, you remember when Mom had mentioned about writing a book? I said, it's been on my spirit lately. You know, I said, what do you think about it? And the first 2 words out of their mouth was, Joe, duh, of course you need to write this book. She said, this is God telling you that you were called to do this. She said, and I'm familiar with how you write anyway, so I know you're a good writer. You need to pull everything that your mom ever shared with you and experienced with you, and you pour it all out into that book. So it was at that point in the journey that I actually birthed the idea of, okay, I'm going to actually move forward with writing the book. So the initial motivation to doing it was really about paying homage to my mom. But the process itself began to evolve, because from there, it started to pour into me in a way to where I started to say, you know what? It's not just about paying homage to my mom. This is also an opportunity for me to help people, and specifically help people who struggle with dealing with adversity in difficult times. Because there are those of us who are out here that when challenging moments come in our lives, when the storms of life come, some of us just freak out. We panic. We don't know what to do or where to go. We get consumed in that moment. And so I was like, well, this could be a good opportunity in sharing the transparency of the experiences that both my mom and myself have had over the course of our life, to let people know that it doesn't have to be the end of the story.
Right.
And so it was an opportunity to pour in that way. And then even after I got that revelation, it went a step further, which was it evolved into an opportunity for me to share my faith. And so when I think about it as a believer, I understand the fact that everybody is at different phases and stages in their walk with Christ. And so, well, in trying to introduce God and present God through my experiences of life in the book, I didn't want to do it in a preachy way. Where every other word, every other line was me hitting you with a scripture, where I felt like people were having this forced upon them. I wanted it to be happen. I wanted to have it happen naturally through my experiences, so that people, regardless of where they were in their walk, could receive what I had to present, that it could be relatable to them. And I just say, by the grace of God and just the way that He moves, He was able to allow my creativity to put it forth in such a way that I was able to do just that. And I know that this is to be the case, because in all of the reviews that I've gotten back, just to give you an example, one of the greatest compliments of the book that I received was actually from a person who I know for a fact is an atheist. Who was moved and touched by the story. So it was like, when you know that you can present God in a way and how He plays a role in your life and everything that you're about and what you do, and somebody on that far end of the spectrum can be moved and touched by your story, then there's hope that you have an opportunity to reach more and impact more lives, because again, as a believer, that's part of what we're supposed to do, is share God's word, share who He is. But God never forced Himself on us. And so if He's not forcing Himself on us and saying, I'm gonna put a gun to your head to make you follow me, then He wouldn't encourage us to be out here doing the same. You gotta be creative. You gotta be, outside of the box in your thinking, to be able to reach more people, so that they can understand through your transparency and be in relatability on how God can be special and important and a necessity in their lives. So
yeah, and I agree with you 1,000%, Joe. Just being open-minded, being diverse, like you said. Just you remember thinking about what you just talking about. You remember thinking about when Zacchaeus and Jesus had a conversation. We don't know what the conversation was. We know that Zacchaeus gave back everything plus interest and stuff he took from people. We don't know the kind of conversation that we had. We can't say it was damnation, it was hell. We don't know. Mm-hmm. But just being diverse, being open, being an open book, and we can learn a lot of stuff from people, whether they atheists, Buddhism, Muslim, the 5%ers, all that stuff we can learn from different people. And that's what, when it comes to the Christian world, we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves to one belief. If they don't agree with us, we want to cast stones at them. But you have to be open to a lot of things. Just can't be closed-minded to a lot of things. I'm glad you brought that up, to be open and not to be afraid to talk to this person, because the Bible said Christ he sat with the sinners. He sat with the sinners. He fellowship with them. The Pharisees was pointing fingers at him. Now look what he doing. He sit with the sinners. I sit with the sinners and stuff. But he didn't come for them. He came for these people right here who was broken. We was all broken. We was always lost. They're the ones He came for. Then He gave the great commission. He said, go and make disciples. Go out and make disciples. He didn't just talk about in the building, but in an everyday walk, neighbors, on your job, in your place of business, you name it. So you have to be open to everybody. So I'm glad you brought that up. And not because I know a lot of time when people see you as a Christian, they get scared. Not scared. I don't want to use the word scared, but they walk on eggshells. They tippy toe.
It can be intimidating, and that's why, like you said, it's so important to just meet people where they are. But what the book has allowed me to do is, through the transparency of my stories, all the stories that I share, they're not all where everything was perfect and I did everything right, or my mom did everything perfect and right all the time. I show you what it looks like when you do rely upon God and you do follow in His ways, and I also show you some examples of what it looks like when you don't. I give you both sides of the table, so I don't come before anybody acting like I'm perfect or holier than thou or anything like that. Am I in a place where I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Absolutely not. But I'm still a work in progress, just like everybody else is. And but when you can relate like that and share your journey with other people, it gives them hope, especially those who might have felt like there was no way that I can turn my life around. There was no way that I can do better and be a better person. So again, it's like you stated, about being open-minded, being outside of the box in your thinking, and being relatable to people, in that regard. So.
Yeah, because I heard the story. This guy was sharing his story, and I thought it was interesting. It's something I never heard before, where his sister told him to be friend with everybody, go sit with different people. That's like if you seen somebody that was a nerd, he would go sit with the nerd, or the jocks, he would go sit with the jocks. His sister taught him to be diverse with everybody. See, in our way of thinking, we limit ourselves to certain things. If you see a girl, you see a nerd, you see a geek, I want someone associate myself with them, or you see the jock, and it just really crazy how we so diverse and we so divided in everything, instead of just going, sitting down, talking with someone from different walks of life to get to know where they at, to understand where they at, so we get a better understanding. Because everything right now is so divided. I don't want to associate with you because you don't dress like me, or you don't talk like me, or you don't believe the same thing I believe in. That's how we miss out on a lot of stuff. Interesting people like interesting people. If you're an interesting individual, people gravitate towards you. But if you just one dimensional, a lot of people don't want to talk to you because they're gonna think you vanilla and boring. But you have to get out, especially in our community. We don't get out enough. We really don't. We still in our community. We don't want to get out of our community. We don't want to go learn different stuff. We don't want to go explore different things. How you expect to enjoy life if you're not really getting out there?
It's the trap of being in your comfort zone. You got to get out your comfort zone. And like I said, that's a daily lesson for not only myself, but for any of us. We have to be willing to step outside of that comfort zone, try new things, experience new things. And, from a spiritual perspective, allow just God to just take you to these places that He has in store for you to take. The more and more I level up in that faith walk and in that trust, the more and more He reveals. I don't even have to look for the people or look for the opportunities. He'll just send you that way. He'll draw those people to you, or He'll direct you to them.
Yeah.
It's the whole spirit of what my book is about. Is letting God lead, just resting in Him. Quit trying to worry about figuring it all out, trying to make sense of it all. He's saying, I got you. Trust that, have faith in that, and just let Him handle that. And when those distractions come your way, when those burdens come your way, quit trying to carry that weight, because there's certain weights that we have in life that we were just never meant to carry.
Right.
But we try to put on a tough face and we got this, trying to do it all. And then you're wondering, why am I wearing myself thin? Why am I so exhausted? Why am I so mentally, emotionally drained? Because I'm trying to carry weight that was never meant for me to lift.
Right.
Somebody that we have available to us, that if we just hand it over to Him and let Him take the wheel, let Him take that weight off of us, let Him handle those distractions, we can now focus on what He has for us, purpose-wise,
right,
and lock in on that. While He says, I got this, you just deal with this over here.
right.
So.
Yeah, you have to be that. You know, Isaiah 119 said, if you be willing and obedient, you should eat the good of the land. You have to be willing and obedient in order to eat the good of the land. And just you talking, don't limit yourself to different things. Your blessing could be locked into an atheist. Your blessing could be locked into a Buddhism. Your blessing could be locked into anybody. Just because they don't look like you, I don't want to be talking about this tonight. Just because they don't look like you, don't mean they could be a blessing to you. Because everybody could bring something to the table to you. You can add it to your toolbox. On our place of employment, yeah, okay. I got some entrepreneurs here on the show tonight. When you bring people into your business, they come from different walks of life, correct?
Absolutely.
They're not the same like you. They come from different walks of life. And the reason why y'all bring these people, y'all do business with these people because they bring something to your organization. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
It could be a white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian. They bring something to your organization that y'all seen in them. You didn't pick them because they are Christian. You didn't pick them because they like this and they like that. You picked them because they were the best qualified candidate to take your organization to the next level. You look for the best candidate on job. They look for the best candidates on jobs. They don't look the candidate because he's black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian. It's about who is capable of taking my organization to the next level. So when go ahead.
I've a lot of environments where I was the only Black person. Like I was in so many environments where I would be like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, but I also felt like really presidential, right? Because you like, I'm the only one, and they ain't hiring nobody else. They ain't looking for nobody else, and I'm the only one. So, I think when you can set yourself apart and be in that type of environment, in the diverse environments, that's what really make you thrive. That really allow you to thrive. You get to meet different people, different personalities, interact. You get to know different things. Like right now, I work for the gym owner that I work for. He's Hindu, and I had never like really known about Hinduism, but he made me curious because I'm like, well, he ain't talking about harming nobody. It's not nothing, it's not nothing bad. So a lot of the times we just fear what we don't know and what we don't understand. Like, because we don't understand it, we like, nah, I can't do it because I don't understand it. But it's like once you start listening to a lot of these religions and a lot of these different cultures, they really have the same principles. They just believe or worship a different item or idol. Like Christians have Jesus and the Chinese people have Buddha and so forth and so on. Like they just worship different items. And I just feel like religion was kind of placed here to keep us divided too, in a sense.
Well, it does.
That's definitely a whole nother.
It does. I mean, it really do. And like I said, just being diverse. I just really said being diverse. Anna, you have anything you want to say? Anything you want to piggyback on?
I was trying to get to the unmute. Mr. Joseph, you dropped a few gems. Every question I had, you went and you followed up. So with your mother being the inspiration, you went on and told us, but you also want to speak to the audience and not in a peer pressure kind of way, but talk about the power of God and blessings. And so I really liked how you said you wanted to bring it to people and not be preachy. A lot of times people are so finicky about where they can receive the word. And similar to what Herman was saying, we can get and receive from anyone. God can use all of us in different ways. And I know sometimes people stray from the word because they feel like they've been condemned. They feel like they've been judged. They feel like they're the black sheep. But I just want the audience to know no matter where you are in your journey, God uses all of us, right? So if he can use a drunk, if he can use a murderer, if he can use a bush out of the mouths of babes, he will use children. He definitely can use you. And so using those life experiences to be a light to others, I just want to say thank you for that. I really want you to tell the audience where and how can we purchase your book?
Okay. Well, if you want to jump right in and get the book, you can go to blessingsinthestreets.com. That's my direct page to purchase the book. If you want to find out more about me and services that I offer, as well as being able, of course, to access the book, you can go to my primary website, which is josephbroberts.com. And again, find everything you want to know, more information about me, services that I offer, as well as being able to get the link to purchase the book. So
now, Mr. Joe, give us some insiders. What kind of services are you offering?
Well, I do make myself available for motivational speaking, as well as, I can do a series of different workshops and presentations, whether it's on a one-on-one basis or for different organizations or small groups. I can cater to whatever your specific needs in. It's just about us having a conversation as to what direction you want to go, because as I stated earlier, my pillars are all about relationship building, leadership development, and mental health awareness. And again, I wrap all of that around the foundational principle of godly principles, just simply meaning that no matter what relationship you're in, whether we're talking about husband and wife, whether we're talking about relationship with the job, relationship with your finances, your friends, or whatever, even as an entrepreneur, if you want that relationship to work, if you want that business model to work, God has to be a part of that model. As I spoke at the event that I met Furman at, I stated, you leave God out of it. What you're basically doing is you're doing a disservice to yourself, as well as the people that God purposed for you to serve. When we take on these leadership roles, for example, this is a divine assignment. This is not something that you just stumble upon or happen upon. So with a divine assignment comes a certain level of high excellence that comes with that. And so, but you can't do that in your own strength. God has to be a part of it. You have to have that foundational basis in order for it to work out. Otherwise, you're either capping what you can do, or you're just simply exposing yourself for a setback. And you sit back and wonder, why didn't this thing work out for me? Well, first question I have is, where was God in that? Was he a part of that, or were you just chasing the money? Was God in it? Were you just chasing the prestige and how many followers you can get? Where was he at? If that marriage is not working out, was God a part of it? If that friendship didn't work out, was God in that process when you were actually discerning whether or not this was a good friend to even connect with? Was this somebody that's going to pour into me, or was somebody that's going to bring a lot of toxic energy from me? That's why I tag myself as a relationship strategist, because I understand, not because I haven't made mistakes in making bad decisions or choices, but over time you just learn when you let God have unlimited access to these relationships, unlimited access to everything that you do. It just makes a world of difference on how you see things, how you perceive things. That's not to say that you won't encounter storms in life, because when it comes to storms, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But how you receive the storm. Are you a reactor or are you a responder? Meaning, do I allow that storm to consume me and set me back? Or am I able to take that hit, process it, hand over that weight to God, and then push through it? So when I come out on the other side of that storm, I'm actually a better, stronger person as a result of it. And when you get into that regular regimen of practice with it, you'll get so good at it to where people won't even know you've been through a storm unless you verbally told them, because you just won't look like it anymore. It's just the way you process. So
basically, you mend relationships, you ignite inspiration, and you do it utilizing godly principles.
Yes.
I got it. I can't wait to check out your book, check out the things that you're doing in the community. I definitely want to connect with you. Furman, what were you about to say?
We were just talking about, he was talking about relationships. And it's something we've been talking about as of late on the podcast, being open with each other, being honest with each other. So when you come into relationships, when you're to come into a common union with another person, that's something that we was never addressed growing up. talk about a lot of stuff out in the open and lay your cards out on the table. I remember I had a couple here a few weeks ago, and then when they first got together, they put everything out on the table because we don't talk about a lot of subjects that we need to address.
And just knowing what to expect, like what are my expectations out of this relationship? But again, it doesn't even matter what the relationship is. It doesn't have to even just be the male female thing. Like I said, how do I know what a good friend is?
Right.
If I'm relationally, if I'm spiritually connected to God, God is going to give me the discernment to know before I get into too far into that thing, whether or not this is a relationship or a friendship that I even need to be forming. I'll already know what that standard of excellence is. But if I don't know what that standard of excellence is, and I just kind of jump into stuff, friendships, relationships, work situations, financial situations, whatever, without having that proper counsel and knowing, what does God say about this, then it leaves me vulnerable to stumbling into things that are that's not going to be beneficial to me.
Right.
That's not going to be, productive for me. That's not going to enhance who I am and what I'm designed to do. So it's just it's a process that we all got to get better at, but the process involves God has to be in the mix of it. That's our source. That's our strength. As your podcast is titled, we walk in his ways. That's when we walk in his way, we find that right way to go. When we don't walk in his way, we get sidetracked, we get distracted, we get thrown off our game. And that's when the attacks can overthrow us and consume us and take us down into places that we struggle to recover from. So,
and I wanted to bring this up too, Joe. I'm going to talk about fear. The Bible tells us to be truthful with our neighbor. We should be truthful with one another. Fear. We have fear of telling people what we want. We have a fear to tell people what we expect and we don't expect. It's that fear factor. I remember this story back at home. I'm really from Mobile, Alabama. I've been living here a year going on 2 years. I remember years ago, this pastor shared this story about this couple. The mindset again, once again, he was talking to this couple, premarital counseling, and the preacher was trying to get the guy to see the big picture. He made this commitment. He said, okay, before you make this commitment, remember, she has all this stuff going on, all this to happen in her life. Are you willing to accept that? His response was, you see how fine she is. Once again, the preacher tried to get him to see the big picture. Before you make this commitment, remember all this stuff that's going on. Are you willing to accept that? His response was, you see how fine she is. He married her. They ended up filing for divorce from the woman. But he was trying to get him to see the big picture for everything. Mm-hmm. Let's go for it. Remember what Jesus said when he was talking to this in a parable. Have you sit down and considered the cost? People be so gung-ho to go build, but they never sit down and consider the cost. Before you actually do this, that's wisdom. Before you actually make this decision, have you sit down and you thought about this decision? Have you thought about, will it be an access to me or will it be a liability? And we all made hasty decisions. I'm not saying I knew it all. It took me to be 40 to understand this now, but just to understand, have we sit down and consider any cost, whether it's taking a job, whether it's getting into a marriage, whether it's getting into an offer. We don't know, because it may sound good, but is it going to benefit me in the long run?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, you got to know what the expectations are. You got to know what the standard of excellence needs to be. Like I said, otherwise you'll make hasty, off the cuff decisions. And before you know it, you're in something that you should have never even ventured off into in the beginning. And it doesn't even have to necessarily mean that if it's a relationship with somebody, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean that other person was a bad person. You just may not be a good fit for each other. Right. Because you're going this direction and you're going this direction. We both come to the table with our stuff, junk and things that's going on with us. But in a relationship, it's about serving. So it's like, what are you, we're real quick about saying, well, I got to have this, and this from somebody or something. But a lot of times we don't ask ourselves, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to this situation? You can't ask for this, but you bring this. That's not going to work no more than you're prepared to give this, but this person is not prepared to give this, or that situation is not prepared to give this. It's not going to work.
Right.
So even if the money looks good, even if the prestige looks good, even if she looks good or he looks good or whatever that situation is, if it's not lining up, if you're not both on the same path, you're asking to force, that square into a circle peg hole or whatever. You're trying to force something that's not meant to be, because you're not going in the same direction.
Exactly. I agree 1,000% what you're saying, and I believe a lot of relationships, whether it's a marriage, a job, could be prevented if we really would have sat down, consider the cost. The Bible said, the multitude of safety, that's counseling. We have to humble ourselves. Stop being, and once again, we get our ego in the way, we get our pride in the way. We think we know it all. We don't know it. Let me tell you this. If you think you know it all, I'm staying away from you. You know why I stay away from you? Because you're a dangerous individual to me. But that means if you do something and it's wrong, you're going to say it's right. So I'm staying away from you. You're a very dangerous individual. So I'm not staying around you that long. You think you know it all. If you take it to the point where you think you know it all, you might well go ahead and die, because you're not going to know it all. We constantly evolving every day. I know I'm involved. The same firm I was yesterday, I'm not the same firm today. I mean, I'm going to be another firm tomorrow. I'm not going to be the same firm today, because you got to constantly evolve. Don't get me wrong. Some people stop evolving at a certain age. But if you're that type of end of the day, constantly involved, you're going to keep evolving, especially when you come to another level in your life. And I learned this too, Joe, in my own personal life. You're not going to accept any and everything, especially in the direction you know that God is taking you. So you're not going to let any and everything lash on to you. And that's just something I believe in.
Absolutely. You got to keep evolving. You got to stay. You got to, what I like to think of, you got to continue to exercise your mind, meaning you got to keep it open to learning new things. The moment you get to the point where you start thinking you got it all figured out, you can't do anything, this is the way I've always done it, it's my way or no way at all, you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking your opportunity to grow, you're blocking your opportunity to, as we stated, evolve and develop and be something at a much higher level. And like I said, that's why I'm enjoying so much where I'm at right now. It's, because I'm finally just letting God just have his way. And again, it's a challenge, because, the enemy doesn't want you to think like that. And so that's where those distractions, that's where those attacks are coming in, because he wants to throw you off your game with that. He doesn't want you thinking like that, because that's godly thinking, so anything that I can do to distract you, to disrupt you, to discourage you, to get you focused on that stuff instead of focus on what God has for you, that slows you down or that impedes your progress. But when you say, you know what, back off me, devil, I got this. I'm paying attention to God. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy road. There's going to be some uncomfortableness along the way. But I know in the end, he's working this out for my good. He's utilizing me in a way that's going to be helpful to other people. And I'm just going to let the blessings come as they will. And I'm going to be thankful for all of them, whether they're small, whether they're big. Just the mere fact that we wake up each day and able to open our eyes and have movement of our limbs is enough to be thankful. If there's not another blessing throughout the course of the day, because no new day is promised to us, but I'm just trying to get more and more into that mindset and that way of thinking, so that, again, I'm not limiting myself in what God can do for me. So, and do through me, more importantly.
Yeah. And that involving is very important. You should want to. Is it for everybody? No, I'm just gonna be realistic. It's not for everybody. Some people like what that. That's why Paul said, "I wish that all men might be saved," because everybody's not gonna get it. So you have to have that mindset that everybody's not gonna get it. They don't want to get it, and it's not for everybody. But there are those who do want to get it. And you remember thinking about the Last Dance documentary about the Bulls and stuff, and how Michael Jordan was the highest scoring player when he first came in the league, but his team always got bounced in the playoffs because the head coach at that time, Doug Collins, was centered around Michael Jordan. So the team was built around Jordan. Yeah, Jordan would average out a lot of points, but he was always losing until Phil Jackson came along and taught Mike, you have to trust your teammates. Mike wanted to win. Mike humbled himself. Mike didn't say, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the man. No, Jordan wanted to win. So what happened? He listened to Phil Jackson. He ended up getting 6 championships behind that. All they took from him was to listen. Okay, Phil Jackson, okay, he know what he's talking about. Let me trust his wisdom. Let me trust his guidance. It don't make you less of an individual. You're all about winning.
Right.
Greatness gravitates toward greatness. You've been on this earth longer than I have, Joe. I'm a young man. But you've been there. You've done that. What's wrong with me to ask for your advice? Because you've been there, done. You know what I'm saying? It may seem like you have to humble yourself and go to people who have this experience. And that's the problem in this generation today. This young generation, they know it all. You have somebody who's older, you come tell you,
I think you froze up.
yeah, I'm bad. I had technical difficulties on my end. I'm bad.
That's good.
Yeah, but what I was saying on that, so it shows the humility side of you when you go and get advice for someone who's already has the experience. Their experience can help you get to that next level in your life. That's what I was saying.
And the Last Dance was a perfect example. Of course, I grew up in that age, seeing all that greatness go on. But even if you take it to the next level spiritually, isn't that what God is calling us to do? Is to say, I need help. I can't do this thing all by myself. I can't, I want to win in life. I want to do great things in life. But and while I have been equipped with a strong mind and physicality to do these great things, I still can't do it all by myself. God says you don't have to. I never constructed you, man. I never constructed you, woman, to do this alone, to do it all by yourself. Lean on me. Be dependent upon me, and I will get you to where you're trying to accomplish the things that you're trying to do. In fact, I will exceed what you thought you were able to do and accomplish in life. Your thinking is here. I'm gonna make it like this, but you gotta understand who's running the show and let me run the show. Lean on me for understanding, lean on me for guidance, lean on me in those difficult moments. Seek my wisdom, seek my understanding, so you'll know what to do, so you'll know how to execute, so you'll know how to conduct yourself. Will you trip and fall along the way from time to time? Sure you will, but don't worry about that, because I love you so much and I got your back. I'm just going to pick you up, I'm going to dust you off, and we're going to keep pushing. Yeah. All I need you to do, though, is just keep relying upon me. Let me do my thing, and let me show the world my greatness through you, so that they can understand why you are in relationship with me, why they should pay attention to your book, why they should pay attention to the words that you're saying. Look at what I'm doing in your life. Look what I'm doing in Furman's life. Look at what I'm doing in Anna C's life. Look at what I'm doing in Shay's life. Look at what I'm doing. This is not an isolated event. You can have it too. There's enough love of him to go around for everybody if they want it and they want to receive it. But you gotta lean on me.
you gotta want it. You gotta want it. They gotta want it. You can lead a horse to water if you can't make him drink. You can wish upon a star all day long, but it ain't gonna happen. You get a lot of times people always say, I'm waiting on God. Nah, he waiting on you.
He waiting on you.
I mean, if you look at it, Jesus said it is finished. He done his part. So what are you waiting on? That's just an excuse. You have to get up on your behind and move.
Right.
Willing and obedient. You should eat the good of the land. When Moses died and he raised up Joshua, he said, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now you go. Remember, the Bible, God said he's not concerned about the dead. The dead is gone. When they dead, that person is gone. I'm only concerned about the living. You alive. I'm using you. I'm telling you to go forward. I'm telling you to move forward. Now he had a choice whether or not to, either he was going to stay because Moses was gone, or he was just going to trust God and move forward. And you got to realize God will give you instructions. He give you the tools to use. So you can't say he seen me out here blind. Okay, Moses. Moses kept saying I'm a stutterer. He sent Aaron along. So you keep look at when Abraham wanted to have a child, Sarah laughed because they looking at I'm old. And that's when it comes to success. When it comes from that God gives success, we run from it. We get afraid. Yeah. We thinking, oh, I don't have the background. I don't have the stature. I don't have the look. I don't have. No, it's not. He gonna utilize he giving you the tools. It's up to pick those tools up and utilize those tools. He's gonna work it out. He's gonna promote you, but you have to believe that he's gonna do it. Right. Okay, faith without works is dead. Is it possible to please God if you have no faith? Let's really be real. If you don't have no faith, he cannot use you. Bottom line. You cannot please him if you got no faith. That's his word. Bottom line. Where is your faith at? We put our faith in things that we see, and that's what's going on. We put our faith in our car. We put our faith in our job. We put our faith in our bank account. We put our faith in our significant others because we see these people in front of us. But when it comes to not seeing anything, we get scared. I got to see it first. That's that doubting Thomas. Remember doubting Thomas? It took him to see the prints in Jesus' hand to him believe. And then Jesus said, blessed are those who have not yet seen.
Exactly. And that's the mindset that we have to have. We can't always have it our way where you want God to break down blow by blow exactly how it's going to play. That's not what he's going to do. He's saying you got to have faith. And he's not even asking us to have massive faith. He says faith of a mustard seed. If you ever seen a mustard seed, I mean, we're talking about just a fraction of faith, and he's satisfied with that to get it started. Just have that. But we can't, like I say, you can't operate in fear. You can't operate in being so comfortable with your comfort zone that you're hesitant to step out of that. You can't, like you said, beat yourself up because you're saying, well, I don't have this and I'm lacking that, and using that as an excuse to not be obedient or lean on God to get you to that victory. You just gotta, and the thing is about God is that when he knows that you're right there and you're hesitant, he will allow situations to come your way where you have no choice but to count on him. Like there is nobody that you can call on. There's nobody that you can reach out to. There's not enough money in the account that you can spend. There's not a hookup that you can call that favor in on. He'll put you in, he'll allow those situations to come about and put you in a situation where it's God or bust. So you like have to, and I've had those moments in my life where I wavered and God said, okay, I'm gonna put something on you where you have, not necessarily that he's forcing me to, but it's creating a situation where, okay, since you want to try to handle this all on your own, it's clear you can't do this. Are you ready to trust me and let me do my thing? And I promise you, every time that I've had those moments over the course of my life, and I say, okay, God, you know what? I don't need to try to do this on my own, and I've relied upon him every time, exceedingly and abundantly. He has come through for me in a variety of different ways, and that ties into many of the stories that I share in the book, whether it's things that directly impacted me, whether it's things that directly impacted my mom, a combination of the two of us, where there was countless moments where that very thing happened, where per the worldly ending, this was all going to end bad, but thanks that we have a God that had an alternate ending that said, no, it's not even ready to go the way you think this is going to go. You thought that this was getting ready to be a defeat, a crushing blow for Joe, a crushing blow for his mom, a crushing blow for both of them. No, this is not the end. I'm getting ready to do something you didn't even see coming. And boom, here it is. And it's like, wow, God is so amazing. And, the more I live, the more I discovered. I know I got a lot of gray hair going on my head, but I'm not an old man yet.
But
But
that's
it's like,
wisdom.
I just, it's just like, but the years of just seeing God over and over again. So it's like I actually get mad at myself sometimes when I find myself even doubting, even just a little bit, like it's not gonna come through. It's like, how can you be out here telling everybody else to believe and have faith, and you got to walk that walk too, because storms gonna come your way too. And matter of fact, because I have you doing the work that you're doing, I'm gonna allow them to come a little bit stronger on you, because you got to be leveled up to be able to speak that confidence into people. And the more life testimonies that I can shine through you to let the world know that, hey, I'm for real, that I'm legit, that I'm not just some figment of people's imaginations, but that I am an awesome and powerful God that is capable of anything. There's nothing too big that I can't do. The more people will gravitate and want more of what God has to offer. So I just say, God, use me in whatever way you need to. My imperfect, flawed, filthy rag self, use me however you need to use me, my experiences, my life stories, in hopes of being able to help and reach other people and make their lives better, to be an encouragement to them, to empower them. I know, I would like to have it if in those times that I need it. So why wouldn't I want to pour that out into other people? And even to that, as people like yourself and like me, where we strive to empower and encourage other people, we have to remember not to even neglect ourselves. Even the encourager needs encouraging sometimes too. So, you can't pour into other people if you're not effectively pouring into yourself and keeping yourself ready and able to do what you do. You can't pour from an empty glass.
That's true. And I agree. You saying a mouthful there, because I got to make sure, hey, that I work out. I work out with Shay 3 times a week. I make sure that I stay healthy. I make sure I take care of my mind, take care of my spirit with the purpose and destiny at hand for me. I have to take care of myself. I have to take care of my body. The Bible said that he wants to prosper and not heal us with our soul prosper. Mm-hmm. I can't benefit nobody if I'm broken down, spiritually drained. I can't benefit nobody. I can't even benefit myself.
Can't benefit, right.
So I have to keep that going. I'm going to read a couple of comments too in the comment section. Latoya just said, "You so right." She said, and Shay said, "Rely on God. It's a must." Big shout out to my cousin. She said, we got to stop that fear from keeping us back from what God has already ordained for our life. I totally agree with that. Shay said, "For you sure can't pour from an empty cup." And Daniel McCall said, "Take care. Your mind is a must." That's so true. You got to take care of your mind, because the mind can play tricks on us. It really can if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation about this at work, how we judge ourselves, judging ourselves, not thinking that we're not good enough, especially when it comes to guys or anybody. It feel like they, what happened? I'm bad. I'm camera. But we were on talk about the judging, the prejudging, not thinking that we're not good enough, not worthy enough. We play those thoughts in our mind, and we miss out on a lot of great stuff because we lack the belief. We lack, because I'm not good enough. I can't get this, and then live in regret. And I know pillars of relationship. I know we have a relationship with people, but what about the relationship with ourselves? We communicate with ourselves. We build a relationship with everybody else, but we need to let ourselves. I said a lot of people who get caught up in relationships, they put people on a pedestal, Joe, and they lose themselves in the process.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we miss the fact that of all the relationships that are out there, one of those relationships that exist is me and me. How do I relate to me? Do I pour in positive thoughts to me in terms of what I think about myself, my worth, my value, or am I constantly filling me with negative and toxic energy that I'm no good, I can't be used because I've made so many mistakes in my life, I've made so many bad decisions, I'm just this horrible, just unusable individual. But how many times, if you don't even have to be a Bible scholar, you've heard enough stories over the course of a lifetime, anything from the Bible that speaks on many occasions where God has taken people who have been just that, who have made grave mistakes, poor decisions, and made great men and women out of those individuals. As it says, God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the call. You don't have to come already perfected and ready to go. God will say, you know what, I'm getting ready to take you, old raggedy, trifling one, because I know that there's something special in you, and I'm getting ready to draw that thing out and make you something special and impactful to the world. Watch me work. And I can guarantee you that He's done that on multiple levels with me. I would say that He's done that on multiple levels with you. And guess what? He's not even done.
Oh yeah.
You are just scratching the surface in what you're doing. I'm just scratching the surface and what I'm doing. It's not necessarily a new beginning as much as it's a continuing of the process. It's just We're just elevating to that next level, and all we got to do is stay locked in and stay focused and just continue to let God pour into us. Let God keep telling us, okay, Furman, this is your next move. This is what's, and when you say, well, I want to do this, and God's going to say, hey, Furman, that's a good idea, but I need you to think bigger than that. I know you want 10,000 viewers, but why not 30,000 viewers? I know you want 30, but why not 50?
That's it.
You got to, because sometimes even when we're walking with God, sometimes we can undercut ourselves even in that, because we'll ask God for something and it may be in the right spirit and everything. God will be like, but that's cool that you asked for. That's not unreasonable, but I'm bigger than that.
Right.
That's all you want? No, let's really do this.
That's
it. What's the worst thing I can tell you? Worst thing that's gonna happen, I'm gonna say, okay, hold up a minute. Let's that's the worst that can happen. But
right.
The bottom line is, it's like God wants us to go big and go home. Especially if you're doing a work that is in alignment and pleasing with what He wants you to do. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to think big, because you were with a big God. So
that's it.
Expecting that.
That's it. And then I would say, Joe, talk about this too. Your associations. The Bible said, you walk with wise men, you become wiser. You walk with a company of fool, you be destroyed. So you gotta be mindful what kind of company that you keeping around you too on a regular basis. Is you keeping wise company or you keeping foolish company? And we had best of both worlds. I'd rather be with the wise company. You know why? I be around the wiser people. I'm gonna become wiser. Okay, let's take away everybody talk their language. Let's talk their language. If you want to be rich, you're gonna hang around rich people. You hang around rich people, you gonna become rich yourself. Let's take it that way. Right. So talk their language. Some people want to be rich. So
and that's what's so gratifying when to have an opportunity to meet people, like yourself, or people, because that's been to be honest, that's been a challenge for me, is having people around you that want the same things, have the same positive direction, same positive insights, and not getting to a point where you just have people around, because a lot of people fall victim to this. They just have people around them because they don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
They don't want to be by themselves. So I'll just hang with this crowd, or I'll just associate it with this situation just because it's better than be by myself. How many people stay in unhealthy relationships, unhealthy friendships because, well, at least I got something. At least I got somebody. Well, if it's toxic, wouldn't you actually be better by yourself? And even then, to say you're by yourself is not really an absolute truth, because if you got God in your corner, you ain't never by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So what you do instead is you say, well, look here, God, I need a better circle of friends. I need a better circle of confidence. I need people who I can trust, who pour into me, who I can pour into, who have my best interest at heart, who mean me well. Lead me to those individuals. Connect me. And again, you'll be amazed at how that happens. When I met you at that brunch, before I came to that brunch, I knew I was going to be speaking. I knew I was going to have my table, but I didn't know what to expect. I said, it's be a cool event, but part of my prayer was that I get connected with some people that, will add value to my life, that will be, a positive impact on my life, So I meet a brother like you. I meet, a brother like Jay, Mamie. I just had recently an opportunity to be on his talk show, even my encounter with Felicia. I was initially just a follower of Felicia on social media, and I had intended to participate in the event just as a participant. She just happened to randomly reach out to me and said, "Hey, And I say randomly, and I use that word loosely, I would like to more say she divinely reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to be a speaker? I had never met Felicia before or anything like that. And in fact, I shared with her, I was actually having a really bad day that day. And I told her, I said, you just totally lifted my spirits. Just that invite, it was so unexpected. But again, that's how God moves. When, you know, he knows what you need, he knows what you want, and he gravitated her to me, he gravitated brothers like yourself and other people, and things have just propelled and moved forward since that event. And I'm excited about the upcoming event again, just to see what God is doing next. And you know, I'm just ready to just be open and ready to receive whatever it is that he has for me. You're right, it was a divine connection. That's what it was. I mean, and then we talk and we find out that we got a lot in common. We both from Chicago. We both believers. We both, you know, it's just, and that's the whole spirit of what Blessings in the Street was about, because that title was something that my mom coined. It was her way of saying, of explaining God's favor on her life, which was how she would be just out and about, running errands, doing this, that, or the other in various places. And she would be drawn to people that she had never met before, never encountered before. But by the end of that engagement, they would somehow bless her in some fashion or form. And it became such a regular thing that she would always refer to it. I got another blessing in the street today, got another blessing in the street today. And that was just a thing. So the encounter with you, the encounter with Felicia, the encounter with Jay, and other countless encounters that I can share with you, these are all examples of those blessing in the streets moments where God will just draw you to people totally unexpected, totally unplanned. Well, it was in his plans, but totally unplanned as far as you were concerned.
Right, exactly.
Boom, here's a connection, here's a new relationship, here's a new up and coming. And before you know it, again, you stay open, you stay relatable, you stay present and willing to receive all of those things. God will just continue to pour and pour and pour. And as you pour and pour and pour, he's going to continue to pour and pour more, because as we've all heard the term, you can't be God-given no matter how hard you try. So, right. You know, it's just the way that it is. So.
Yeah, and it's awesome with the connections you make with people. And big shout out to Felicia as well. I know she has the event coming up this Saturday afternoon. I know it's going to be very great. It's going to be very powerful and on point. For this coming Saturday, connect with more people as well. That's in the DFW area as well also. So it's been a beautiful thing to see beautiful people from different walks of life just come together for a common good, common goal, to share what they got going on, to give back to the community, give back to others, so back into others, and just to make divine connections as well. So I know when I was there, I had to connect with you. It was some there. I just couldn't leave without connecting with you. Okay, it was just something about you, Joe. I had to go gravitate towards you, and I did. And I thank God for it, to be able to connect with you like that on the instance like that. So it's truly an honor and a blessing as well.
And same here, man, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this goes beyond a podcast. A podcast is not the end of our show. When this comes to an end, that doesn't bring us to an end. We're connected now. We got big things and stuff to do, and information to share, and friendships to build. So that's the way I look at it. I don't just look at this as some isolated event and then, hey, you go your way, and if I see you, I see you. No, this was intentional. This was divine. And same way with Felicia. This is what it was supposed to be, and I'm looking forward to that circle continue to expand. I'm, again, not so much in numbers as much as in quality of folks who are in that space with you. So
that's true. Okay, remember that she did. I know Scripture tells us. He said, I'm just throwing scriptures out there. It's just like he said, 2 or 3 or gather in my name, I should be in the midst.
Exactly. And that's the mindset that we got to have. Is, you know, we want quality people in our circle, people who are in it for the right reasons and for the right purposes in life, people who are wanting to walk and operate in their purpose. That's what I'm looking to have around me. Like I said, and the more of that I can get, that God will allow me access to, the more I welcome it. You know, so.
I know we have some great conversation, and I know we talked about lives. I know we talked about the book, and we started talking about other things. I know when people do write books, do you see yourself turning this into a movie or a series? Because I know a lot of time when people write books, eventually they want to bring what's written to the live stream. So is that in the near future, or in the works?
What I like about your question is that The way I look at that is that you're speaking something into existence. Because when I wrote this book, I always felt like it was a story that I thought could spread beyond just being in a book, possibly a movie. And I don't say that as tooting my own horn or ego trip or anything. I genuinely do believe that it could be a story that's told at that level. Obviously, what God has to say about it and what He's willing to offer up in that regard. I'm open to it, but I would definitely love to see it expand beyond a book. Because I think that it has that type of relatability and relevance to again a vast audience of people.
Right.
That could truly benefit from the stories that are told, and even some of the stories that didn't make the cut that are still relevant stories. I mean, because it was at some point I had to bring the end to the book, otherwise it'd probably be 1,000 pages long. But there are even more stories that didn't even make the original cut that are
Oh, wow.
just as meaningful, just as impactful to tell. That you just kind of be like, well, just when I thought you had said everything, yeah, there's more. Like I said, I had to bring it to an end at some point, but yeah, I would love for that opportunity. And so anybody listening, if you read this book and you feel like I do about it, I certainly welcome that conversation, because I really do truly believe that it has the potential to expand to levels beyond just the story. The story was just the entry to it all. It was the entry to the message. It was the entry to the ministry. But I think that there's so much more that can still be unpacked and can be revealed from this, that can reach people. Again, talking about meeting people where they are. Everybody's not going to pick up the book, but there might be somebody that'll watch a movie. There might be somebody that'll engage in it in a different way. So I'm open to all of that, and I receive that message that you put out there in the atmosphere, because I would love to see it gravitate to that.
Yeah, 'cause I know a lot of times when people write books, especially as a book about their life or family, they want to bring it to the small screen, the big screen, you name it. I know it goes in depth with the book, and I know some of the I was reading about the time when your mother was cleaning up a lady's house and how the lady treated your mom. This is a child, and I don't understand, how can you treat a child like that? Your mother doing all the work for her, and she just. Like, how can you be that cruel and heartless?
And to tell you that, I mean, this is something that happened to my mom. She was probably about 12 at the time, roughly. And when I tell you, every time my mom told that story, she would tear up in telling that story, because it's still, after all of those years, it still cut her to the core. I mean, she was doing what she felt like she needed to do, because, of course, my mom, grew up poor. And so it was my grandmother's way of sort of utilize, it was what she had to do in order to get money from a friend in order for them to be able to take care of some basic needs. And I don't even know if my grandmother even knew, until much later, what she was actually, having to endure in helping to clean this woman's house just to make a few, extra dollars to help out in the household. But yeah, there are people in life back then and even today that will take advantage, will take you for granted, because they see you in a weakened position and they look at it as an opportunity to tower over you, or to show you that, in their own way, that they are in control and they're in charge. So that's almost like, I'm gonna make you beg for help when you really are in position to help people. And that's just not the godly way to treat people. If you're in position, if you can help somebody that needs your help, then you should be able to extend that help to them, and not have these conditions and have these circumstances where people will manipulate your bad times and your bad moments just for their own benefit. But that goes back to what we talked about earlier, about when you are in relationship with God, and through the wisdom of God, you get to learn how to discern who to have in your life and who not to have in your life. You'll understand that you pick people that that aren't just in your corner and for you in the good moments and all of that. You want the true friends that you want in your life, are the ones that that when you're at your lowest, when things are at the roughest time in your life, that these are actually people who will, that without a hesitation, you can count on and rely upon them to be there for you in whatever way that they can be, and not make you feel less than or belittled or having to grovel for the most minor of assistance. So, it's unfortunate that scenario happened with my mom, but it's also an unfortunate thing that there are people, even in today's world, that go through that constantly from people that are supposed to be their friends.
Yeah,
So.
and I said that was just cruel.
Mhm.
that she did that to her. That was just a child, but wow. But just the stories and stuff, and I know your mother and her brother were very close.
Yes.
So, matter of fact, you're named after your uncle, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
The only difference in our name is my middle name is different, but I'm named after my uncle. Yes.
Okay, and I know that your uncle died at a young age in the war,
Yeah, in Vietnam.
Vietnam, and I know that was hard for your grandmother.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
and
it took a toll on my grandma. It took a toll on my grandmother and my
your
mom
mother, yeah.
because my mom and her brother were very close. But then my grandmother was, of course, close to, to my uncle, obviously because it was her child. But again, and not saying that it's right or it's fair, but it was sort of that dynamic of mother and son. Mothers and sons tend to at times have that kind of close bond, very similar to like fathers and daughters have. And so I think the combination of that was devastating, obviously, to lose him, and knowing that his whole purpose for going off to war was to not be a burden on the household, to try to earn some extra money, thinking it was an opportunity to make things better. And then he loses his life in the process of doing that. So then it's like, okay, so then now you have my grandmother and my mom left, who they loved each other, but there were also some issues, in terms of their, getting along. So you have that dynamic going on too. So now they're having to sort of come alongside one another, even though they weren't at a space it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't optimal either. So
Right.
now having to force that to make that work because now they only have each other to rely upon, and then you fast forward a little bit more and then boom, here I come to the mix. So now you add another element to the mix. So yeah.
That's it. And I want to ask you this. I know you come from a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a husband, you're a father. Did you use that as extra motivation in your own life? Because a lot of times when guys come from a single parent household, they use it as an excuse. They use it as a crutch to say what they never had in their life. But
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it was definitely a motivation from the standpoint of course, it was definitely a motivation from the standpoint of fatherhood.
mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I knew my dad. And, and one of the things that I do really appreciate about my mom is that despite the fact that he wasn't actively in the home raising me, she wasn't the type of mother that kept me from my dad. She tried to make sure that we had some level of a relationship throughout the years. So, but nevertheless, I knew that when I had the opportunity to become a father myself, that I didn't want to be one and my child not have that fatherly presence in the home. So I don't take that lightly. And just like my mother and I were like this, my daughter and I are like this. She is definitely a daddy's girl, and I would give my life and everything in me to do whatever I can to provide her the quality of life and the support and the encouragement that I wish I was able to experience with having a dad in my home. I mean, my mom had to play both roles and she did a really great job at it, but to be able to be in a situation now where I provide for my child a 2-parent household, where we're not, struggling, to just get by and have the basic necessities, to be able to have some kind of voice and some say into that. And I owe nothing, I owe that all to God for just allowing me the ability to do that. Am I satisfied with it all? Am I done with it all? No. And that's where I spoke to earlier about making that transition from the whole pursuit of the career that I've been doing for several years, and the whole pursuit of the chasing the money and all of that, to transitioning into, what is this life all about? Where is my fulfillment in everything that I'm doing? What is the ultimate, the ultimate ending to my story, that when I'm all said and done and I shut my eyes for the last time, what legacy do I leave to this world? What can the world say about what I contributed to it? Or did I just take up space, suck up oxygen, grow old and die? Or did I actually leave a lasting impact on the world? And that's what I'm trying to be in the space of now, to where because I don't know when that day is going to come. But
Yeah.
whenever it does come, did I leave something of substance to the world, impact, influence? Did I establish generational wealth for my daughter? Did I make a difference in lives? Did I help somebody? Did I, or will I just be a forgotten person because I did nothing of substance or importance?
Right.
So it's about that transitional point, and that's the phase that I'm in right now. So,
And that's truly an honor, and I'm glad to see men come to the forefront in this generation. Men who are learning about themselves, men who cherish their last name, men who wants their legacy to go far beyond themselves and go down to their children. The Bible said, "Good man leave parents with children." So it's a blessing to see men now come to the forefront, being the head, being the leader, leading your family, because your family was there with you. You wasn't solo at
right.
you was there with your wife
No, my
and
wife and
your
my
daughter.
daughter. Yeah.
That's leadership. I'm gonna say that again, ladies and gentlemen. That man, I'm not making this up. I'm not saying it to blow smoke. His family was beside him. He displayed that leadership. He wasn't a solo act. He wasn't at all. His wife and child, his daughter, were right alongside him, helping out. He displayed leadership. We need to see more guys display leadership in your home, ladies and gentlemen. Men, I'm talking to the men. I'm not talking to the ladies. I'm talking to the men. If you are married or you in the household, you supposed to be that leader in your household. God will hold you. God holds you accountable in that office. If you look at the Bible, let's go biblical for a moment. If you can't maintain your own house, how can you respect? How can you maintain God's house? You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
starts at your own house first. God will hold you accountable. Men, He will hold you accountable because you are made in His image. You're the head. I like that, Joey, how you display leadership
Yeah.
in your family.
And it's important. I mean, because I want them to be a part of all of this. I mean, I'm not looking at this, like you said, as a solo act. I mean, all of the particular details of even what, and I consider myself, like I said, at the very beginning of the process and all of this, but many of the details and things, just whether it was at that event or at other events, my wife and my daughter played, instrumental roles in that. They give me feedback, they give me advice, they give me suggestions. They think about the little particulars that I might overlook. So
Right.
I'm thinking about one thing and they're like, no, you got to have this, you got to make sure this and this is in place. And my daughter was even critiquing the video that I did that for the promo of the show coming up, like, make sure next time you do this, add this, and I appreciate that. I welcome it. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I don't claim that, I'm not,
Right.
I have a basic navigation of, getting around the computer and technology and all that. But in these days and times, these kids know a lot more than when we do.
Right.
So, she knows how to work my phone better than me, my computer better than me, all of that kind of stuff, So, I definitely appreciate and I welcome it. And as you stated, as a man, you want to try to be the best man you can be, the best father you can be, the best husband you can be. And when you do have mishaps and mistakes or slip ups or whatever, don't beat yourself up about it. You own up to it. Hey, I made a mistake, God. I talk to God all the time. Hey, maybe I should have said that differently. Maybe I should have handled that situation differently. Maybe I should have did this differently. I own up to it, and I just simply ask God, help correct me in that. Give me a better way to do it, a better way to handle those situations, so that the next time I do better and I can continue to do better, because I know that my daughter, even though she's not at the stage just yet of boys and all, there will come a time when she is, and I will likely be the model of what she thinks that's supposed to look like. And I want to give her the best example of what it's supposed to look like, not the bad stuff. I want her to be aware of what that bad stuff is, so she'll be able to discern it. But at the same time, I want her to be able to make a wise choice in that, so it minimizes the heartaches and the heartbreaks. It minimizes being in abusive and and in toxic situations. That she gets it right more than she gets it wrong.
Exactly.
So I hope to be that
Right.
example and that support to her. So that means a lot to me, which is why I beat myself up. So whenever I feel like I've fallen off a little bit, because I'm like, okay, I got to fix this. If for no other reason, her opinion of me matters. and I want her to see the best of me at all times. And I want her to see, I want my wife to see the best of me at all times. And, it's just, it's the responsibility and accountability of it all that I try to do my best to live up to,
Right.
and if I mess up, I try to get that rectified and corrected as quickly as possible so I can get it right the next time, so that's just kind
That's
of how you
it.
have to operate,
That's it. And I'm glad you had brought that up too. That example. You have a daughter. You want her to see that when she gets to that point where she is interested in guys, that she get interested in the right type of men, not just because I see a lot of these guys in this generation. They're crazy. They're really crazy. They don't have no responsibility. They don't have nothing going. They just want to impregnate these young girls and lead them having children on the wedlock, and that's not good. But that to the point your daughter get to the age, she see what a man's supposed to do, how a man go out there provide for his family. She gonna see how you love her mother before her and stuff like that. So she gonna remember that. She sees that, and that's what she's gonna expect. She's not gonna let any Joe Blow kind of come in, try to say this. She gonna add a discernment about herself because she see the example how you portray. And I know that you gonna play a role, already playing a role when that time comes. Seeing what these guys at, knowing where their head at, ask these hard questions. So when it comes to marriage, because back in the day, you had to talk to the father. If the father was pregnant, you had to talk to the father. He wasn't finna go. He wanted to see what your plan is for my daughter. How you gonna provide for her? How you gonna take care of her? You got to ask all these questions, and that's something we need to see back in this generation before these guys want to get married. You need to, if the dad is present. I know a lot of times the dad may not be present, or she has any type of responsible male figure in her life. He needs to talk to them first because you want to know what these folks head at. Because think about it, because she's gonna drop your last name and take on somebody else's last name, and you want to make sure that this is the right guy.
Yeah, you absolutely right. I mean, my friends tease, something my friends tease me all the time. They'll be like, "Hey, you ready to go to the gun range? You might need to get yourself ready for these." They'll tease me, or lady friends that I know, they'll be like, "Oh, she's growing up. You better get ready. You better get ready." And as much as I don't like to think about it, you're absolutely right. Because I mean, she's getting ready to be 15 next month, and I can't even tell you where those years have gone. All I see in my head is picking you up and swinging around like this. I don't see that, and it's just like it's scary and it's exciting all at the same time. But I do want to make sure that I'm positioning myself and conducting myself in a way that, like you said, she gets the best example of what that's supposed to look like, because that's going to help her make those decisions, and that she establishes herself in a way where she's bringing, we talked about that earlier, where she's bringing stuff to the table, because I don't want her to be the one that's having all these big expectations and you bring scraps, to the table, because just like you want a good man, he's going to want a good woman too. And are you prepared to be that? So
that's it. And you got to prepare her, and I thought, you hear guys say, "I don't want an independent woman." I'm single. I'll take an independent woman any day. You know why I say that, Joe? Before I met her, she had her own place. She would maintain her own bills. She was going to work. She would take care of herself. What man don't want that? God forbid something happened to me. She know how to hold it down. Why? Because she was already equipped me before I came into the picture. Some guys want female for some reason to be dumbfounded, don't know how to cook, don't know how to do anything, don't know how to drive. They feel like they could. You don't want that. That's not good.
Yeah.
Because if she's already equipped to be about her business, what man don't want that?
Yeah, because again, it's supposed to be collectively what you're both bringing to the situation.
Exactly.
What you both bring to the relationship. If she's coming in strong and you're coming in strong,
you're gonna make a powerful team.
You're right. You're a powerhouse. You're a powerful team at that point, But if you coming in raggedy and she coming in raggedy, or even if one of you are coming in strong and the other's raggedy, then you're just gonna bring that other one down, So that, again, that's about where that whole choice making is. Who am I connected with? But even going deeper than that, it still goes back to, where is my foundation rooted? See, God is not going to let me, if I'm following off of his wisdom and his guidance, he's not going to let me get myself into that mess. He's gonna
Right.
give me the cues. I'm gonna get those signals to know, you cute, but no, or
I
this
know,
job
right?
pays a lot of money, but no. This situation sounds like it would be fun, but no, because it's not productive. It's not adding value to me. And that's just the mindset that we got to be in. We want that which adds value, that which pours in, not that which is negative and takes away from. We got to have less of that and more of the positive, and more of the uplifting, and more of the building up. And that's just the place that I'm in right now, and that's the place that I want everybody to be in, because that's what's going to make us be at our greatest
That's it.
in life. So that's what it's all about.
That's it. And I know we pressed for time. We almost did 2 hours. To let you know, this show grown. We went from I normally do it 2 hours tonight, but I know we pressed for time. I think I enjoyed this conversation. I really
did too.
Tonight. So, Joe, go ahead and plug in. How can people get in contact with you? Are you doing any speaking engagements in the near future? You have a book tour coming up. You have a book signing coming up. Go ahead and let it rip.
Like I said, as far as how you can connect with me, you can go to my website at josephbroberts.com. On that website, you'll be able to find out information, not only information about me and services that I have available, but also there's the link that you can connect with to purchase the book as well. So that is your go-to source for that. As far as anything, like I said, upcoming, like I said, I just recently did a talk show interview with Jay Mamie, which was our keynote from last month at the brunch. So they'll be having that replay available pretty soon in case you didn't have an opportunity to catch that. I will be at the next brunch, the Dallas Boss Brunch this Saturday as a vendor this time. So I'll be in the house for that. I'm excited to see what's going on with that situation. So it's been a pretty fruitful month, and I'm still in the works of trying to set up some more, have some more podcasts that are forthcoming. So of course, as those events come available, I'll be posting that on social media as well. And just looking forward to, like you said, I am looking forward to trying to set up a more lengthy speaking schedule, so I have some opportunities to not only do some stuff locally, but even maybe do some traveling out of the States. So it's a work in progress right now, just trying to get everything together. And right now it's just about kind of getting myself out here so people actually know who I am and what I'm doing. And like I said, just enjoyed this opportunity to be with you and this evening and the others. And just looking forward to see what God has for me next. So.
Awesome stuff. And I appreciate you. And I'm reading one more comment. Dane McCall. So I have 3 daughters myself. So this conversation is very necessary. So that lets you know that the seed went out, it was planted, and that's what it was all about. That
Absolutely.
somebody take what was said tonight. Big shout out to Shay. Shay said, thanks so much for being a guest on the podcast. Big shout out to her as well. Big shout out to Kenny. Big shout out to Anna. Big shout out to Felicia as well. Also, I will be at the brunch too Saturday as well, so I'm looking forward to it, to be able to connect with more people and look forward to breaking bread and fellowship with you and Felicia as well. So big shout out to her. Also, she's doing great things around the DFW area. So if you available this coming Saturdays at 12 to the Dallas brunch, there's going to be a lot of great people, every walks of life that's going to be there. If you're looking to become an entrepreneur, want to be an entrepreneur, or you just want to brush up on your skills. You can't do this thing by yourself. Come on out. This coming Saturday at 12. For 12 to 2, I think. For 12 to 2.
This is 12 to 3, I believe, actually.
12 to 3.
Definitely, I would say if you haven't had a chance to experience that, definitely come on out. Both Furman and I have been there before. It is truly an opportunity that you do not want to miss. A lot of great speakers, good food, and just a good connecting environment. So I was definitely thrilled that I made it this last go around, and I intend to be there for future opportunities. She has an awesome magazine that's coming out. You even have opportunities to be a part of that as well. So the Dallas Boss Brunch. You can find Felicia on social media, on Instagram, Facebook as well. Connect with her. She can tell you more about it. There's still opportunities, I believe, available for people to purchase tickets. So jump on that, because the place does fill up. So, it's just an awesome opportunity. So I definitely encourage you to be a part of that.
Yeah, most definitely, Joe. And it's not just for it's more educational, it's more schooling. I want to say that too.
Mhm.
Because they encourage you to do a lot of writing. I'm not making this
Yeah,
up. No, they
right.
encourage you to take notes. So
And,
this is
and and I
not,
was glad that they brought that up last time, because when you
yeah,
do go to these networking events, you don't want to just go to just show up. You go, you have your notepad with you, your pen. If you are a business, have some cards with you, have something. Even if you don't have a vendor table set up, have a way for people to connect with you and be prepared to communicate. I mean, these networking opportunities are awesome opportunities for you to meet people. You just never know. You might meet that one person. That's the person you needed to connect with, that just opens up the floodgates for everything else. And for some of us, to be honest, we need to go to events like that to again get out of our comfort zone. We have a good business idea. We have a good thought in mind of stuff that we're trying to do. And this is a welcoming opportunity that even if you're introverted, maybe that's a little on the shy side. I've been there in that space at one point in my life. But if that's where you are, it's an opportunity for you to just come out of that shell and let this be the starting point that
that's it.
catapults you into meeting new people and making new connections. And we want to help Felicia get this event going to where it gets so full to where she got to find another venue because the venue is too small to hold it anymore. So that's what it's all. We're trying to build each other up. That's the whole spirit of what she's doing, is to try to encourage everybody and build all of them up. So we want to reciprocate and do the same thing and learn and get something out of it all at the same time. It's kind of a win-win for everybody.
That's it.
So that's what it's all about. So
That's it. And then it's all about looking out for each other. And it's a thing they do in wrestling too. If you're not familiar with pro wrestling, I'm a pro wrestling fan, of course. It's a thing they do in wrestling. They want to put their opponent over.
mhm.
When it's time to put their opponent over, they want them to look good before the audience and on television to make them the next person in line to be the champion. That's what we do. That's what here at the Ballers Brunch, the Dallas Brunch is about. You get in, it's not about you, but you want to put other people over. You want other people to shine. You want other people to look good. You're going to benefit from it at the end of the day. But I always want to put other people over, make them look good,
Mhm.
make them shine. You don't know everything. If somebody say, of course, then they say, well, they may say, man, I'm looking for an interesting book. Oh, I know somebody. I know Joseph. Make other people look good. Put other people out there. You're gonna benefit from the long run. Cause they gonna first of all, they're gonna say, well, Furman turned me on to you. So it works like that. Don't think
Mhm.
you're missing out. Put other people over
But
to
other
make them
people
look
over.
good. Cause at the end of the day, it's gonna make you look good as too also.
Because all I know is if God has plans for me to be in the winner's circle, then I don't want to be there by myself. I want to see you there. I want to see Felicia there. I want to see other people there with me. I looked at a video just recently, and it was one of those motivational type videos on Instagram, and the young lady, and I've been following her since. She made a statement about I don't know who this message is for, but um, I'm proclaiming that God is the reason why you're going through what you're going through right now, is God is trying to move you from the pit to the palace. And ever since I heard that, that has been incorporated in my prayer every day, that God, I believe you are moving me from the pit to the palace. That's why the things that are happening in my life right now are happening. You are trying to get me ready for this breakthrough. And I don't think just claim it for myself, but I claim it for others. And we just have to recognize it as such, that God is trying to make moves for us, but we have to prepare ourselves. We got to get our houses in order,
Facts.
so that we can come into this thing. It's ready. It's right there waiting for us. But God wants to make sure that we can step into that thing and hit it on all cylinders. And so that's my prayer for all of us. We had that pit to the palace mentality, that where we are is not where we're going to stay, that God has so much more for us. And and we just have to again stay open to receiving what he has to pour into us, what he has to say to us, being willing to step out of our comfort zone, being willing to take those chances and take those risks because of our faith, and trusting him to get us through. And like I said, it's an everyday lesson. It's an everyday journey for me. I don't have it all figured out, but I am diligently and purposefully working each and every day to step it up and step it up. And the more I do it, the more God continues to reveal and confirm the very things that I'm thinking. And so I'm just trying to keep that momentum going. And I want to see you keeping that momentum going, and others that are doing positive,
Right.
godly work. And, you know, and in the end, we all up in the palace, and we
That's
all
it.
doing big things, and we all make an impact. So, you know, I want everybody to win.
That's it.
So,
That's it. And that's what's up right there. I appreciate you, Joe, hanging out with me. I know we
absolutely.
better ready to get off the air. I got to do another show tomorrow night. We're doing King's Mentality. So I
All
got
right.
a panel full of great men that's going to be hanging out with me on tomorrow night, same time here on Walking This Way, Impact Voice. We're going to be live stream once again on Facebook Live. For those that's in the comment section, big shout out to everybody that's been watching us. Big shout out. I want to encourage everybody to get the thumbs up, get your hearts up, get your cares up. And matter of fact, hit that star. We get a star now. So anytime you hit that star, we collect money for it. We collect money for the podcast now. So big shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. We are monetized now. So we look underneath those live stream, you're gonna see somebody support Walk in His Ways. So click that star. And once you click that star, we get money for it. So hey, we all about taking this thing to the next level. I want to go to the next level, and I know y'all want to see us go to the next level with this thing. So hit that star underneath. Like I said, once you hit that star, we get money for it. So hey, hit that star, and Mike, so we appreciate everybody once again. Joe, you have any final remark for the listening audience? That it is going to be on our YouTube channel, it is going to be on Spotify and Anchor Podcast.
All right. Well, like I said, thank you once again, sir, for this opportunity to be with you. God bless everybody who checked us out tonight, and even those who are going to catch it on the replay. This was just an enjoyable experience, and like what we talked about in the beginning, we knew it could go all kind of directions, and I don't think we hit anything that wasn't of value and of substance tonight. And so I hope that what was shared this evening, whether it's from me or from you or from the others, that it pours into the hearts of everyone who was within earshot of it, that we said something that inspired and triggered something within you, that whether it's a change in mindset, whether it's a new confidence and a new look and outlook on life, may God just give you nothing but the best, and then that you just learn and to lean and trust on him, because I promise you, I'm not telling you something that I've heard, I'm not telling you something that Furman heard, I'm telling you something that we've personally experienced, and that's why we're just trying to share with you. It's not about preaching to you, it's not about Bible whipping you, it's just letting you know that through our own transparency and relatable day-to-day life experiences, that God is awesome, God is wonderful, and you can surely rely upon him to do nothing but the best and exceedingly and abundantly in your life. So with that said, love to everybody. And again, thank you, sir, for the opportunity just to be a part of this. I've truly enjoyed myself.
I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you again. We want everybody to have a great night, a great peaceful night, a great restful night. And also, I want to tell you this before we get off the air. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were going to see tomorrow, and they didn't. So remember, let's live life. Let's live life like it's our last. And also encourage yourself. Take your favorite drink, whether you drink water, tea, coffee, whatever you drink. Look yourself in the mirror. Toast yourself. Tell yourself I love you. Tell yourself I got your back. Tell yourself that you're anointed. Tell yourself that I'm iconic. Tell yourself these great things. Believe in yourself, because I'm telling you, if you do not believe in yourself, nobody else is not going to believe in you. So it's on you. I'm just going to leave it like that. It's on you. Because I say this one thing, Joe, before we go. And I use this analogy. Ain't nobody's not going to knock on Furman's front door and tell Furman how to get your life together. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You have to get up and make life happen. God can't use you lazy and slothful. He does not use a lazy and slothful person. If you read the parables of the talent, one hid that one talent because he was afraid. He called you away from you lazy and slothful servant. If you lazy and slothful, God cannot use you. I'm just sorry. He's not going to use you lazy and slothful. He's not.
Right.
The Bible says that God does not give. He didn't want us to be slothful in business. He does not. And I don't want people to think that. And I hear a lot of believers, lazy believers, think you can present something, God's going to bless it. No, he does not work that way. You don't present nothing half step and say God going to know. It don't work that way. I don't know what kind of God you serve, and I don't know where they get their behavior from. It don't work like that. He don't work in laziness. I'm sorry, he don't. He really don't.
Exactly. He doesn't. He
So I
does.
don't know, because y'all don't know what kind of God they serve, where they get their mess from, but each his own. But y'all have a great night. We'll see y'all tomorrow night here on Walking the Way Impact Boy Podcast. And I'll see you Saturday, Joe. Big shout out to Felicia as well, the comment session. See you Saturday. Signing off. Be blessed, everybody.
God bless.